Vin Ballin's back. Let's react. Right now we're gonna react to Squid Game. Things you missed and hidden details. And every ending clue. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so did you know that the players in Squid Game could have actually seen what games they'd be playing before they even played them? Between the matches, the characters were all placed into a room filled with bunk beds, and though this seemed just like a rest area, if you look at the walls, they're actually filled with significant markings. As the beds get
Yo,
slowly
I never
stripped
noticed
away,
that though.
it's revealed that these paintings are actually all of the games that the players would be playing throughout the tournament.
Oh yeah.
First is red light, green light. There's also the honeycomb game, tug of war, the glass hopping one, the three at the table, and lastly the titular Squid Game. The
Ooh.
series itself is filled with clues to the eventual reveals, and this is also the case with the player who's behind the entire thing. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and throughout this video we're going to be breaking it all down, but I just want to give a huge spoiler alert for the series.
It's okay, I've
If you
already
haven't checked
watched
it
it.
out, then this is your chance to quit playing, but if you want to continue, then I hope you thumbs up the video and also subscribe to the channel. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into Squid Game. Okay, so at the end of Squid Game, we learn that it was Ilnam all along. The final episode reveals that he invented the games as a form of entertainment for him and his rich buddies who had become bored with life. We learn that he had actually got involved in the one that we see in the show because he was dying and wanted a final bit of fun in his life before it was too late. The ending was absolutely incredible, and the scene had Ji-hun say bye to the character as he lay on his deathbed. This last meeting actually reflected their first one, in which he too encountered the
Yo, I didn't expect this guy to be behind it all, bro. I didn't expect this guy to be behind it all.
character as he sat in a bed. It was a pretty big twist that pulled the rug out from under your feet, but eagle-eyed viewers might have spotted early on that there were several clues pointing towards his true identity. The first one is that he is number one, the very first player. If we look at the subtext of the series, Ji-hun is the final number, and throughout we watch as he very much works his way to first place, aka Ilnam. In the final episode, he's left as number one. He inherits a large portion of the character's fortune and comes face to face with him in one of the final scenes. One is symbolic on a number of levels, and because it's the first place, it also hints to us that Ilnam is number one and that he's the one controlling everything. In episode 5, Wang Junho sneaks through the compound, and he eventually finds a storage room with files on all of the games that have happened over the decades. Upon opening the 2021, the first player there is actually number 2, and Ilnam's profile
Oh.
is completely missing. There is no file for number 1 because he doesn't need or want to keep a record for himself. The other
Oh,
players in the
okay.
game also somewhat hint towards us that something is up with Ilnam, and though it's not too obvious, when you really think about it, he wouldn't be someone that would be
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't suspect anything from the old man. I didn't suspect anything. I didn't expect anything. I thought he died in episode 6. Bro, honestly though, what a twist though. Got me.
selected for the process. Everyone else in the Squid Game is roughly the same age, whereas he's extremely elderly. He's also dying of a brain tumor, and thus, even if he did win the life-changing money, it wouldn't last that long. Though he gives his reasons as to why he wants it, for what we know about the games and the players that have been selected in the past, they're all roughly between 20 and 40, and he's a complete outlier in all of this. And the games themselves are also major giveaways too. Throughout the series we watched, as he said, they were all things
Bro, I hate bro, this scene right here, bro. Bro, this scene right here made me pissed. Bro, this guy is not human, bro. This guy is not human. This guy doesn't have a heart, bro.
that he played as a child, and in retrospect it becomes blatantly obvious that he selected them himself because they're what he knows. On repeat viewings, it's clear that each of them are something that he not only played as a kid, but they're also things that he's very, very good at. And the first thing they play is red light, green light. Whilst the other players are absolutely terrified for their lives, he gleefully struts about whilst the Terminator's back is turned, and even stops before it looks back to face the crowd. He knows all of the lyrics to the song that the machine sings, and therefore knows to stop in advance before it ends and turns back around. If
Oh,
we
you're right. He does stop in advance.
look at the clip of the targeted players, you might also notice something different about him. The one directly to his left and all of the other ones to the side have a slight green overlay that appears over the top of them. If we look at the players to his right, outside of the girl crouching down beside him, this is also the case too. Everyone other than him in this girl's tracksuit appears slightly green, and I believe that this machine sees him without the glow because it's been
What?
programmed not to
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I just realized this. Whoa. Whoa. Bro, this is. I didn't notice this. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Bro, this makes a lot of sense though. This makes a lot of sense.
Him. If this theory is right, then he also has a protective ring around him that stops the machine from firing at people in his vicinity in case it misses, and that's why the girl who is right is also safe too.
Oh.
Immediately after this game, the players decide to cast a vote on whether they should end the tournament or not. He is the one who makes the choice in the end and casts the deciding vote to end the game. This subtly shows his power over the entire thing, and I actually think that he carried this out for a specific reason. He wanted to give the players a chance to walk away from it all knowing the stakes, and if they came back, then that would ease his conscience slightly, as the choice was theirs. Now cut to the honeycomb game, and Ilnam ends up choosing the star. Though this seems like a very complex shape, there's not actually any bends in it like the circles or umbrellas. But you might think it's easier to have the triangle's lines are longer, whereas the stars are shorter, so there's less to cut through before you hit an edge. Being completely honest though, yeah, the triangle is a pretty easy shape too, but Ilnam didn't exactly have one of the difficult ones either. And next we jump to episode 4, in which a fight breaks out during the night. Throughout, Ilnam hides away from the carnage up on one of the bleachers, and he ends up begging for the fight to stop. Even though up until this point it seemed like the front man was completely in control, he immediately sends the guards in because Ilnam requests it. Another clue is that his bed is the only one that isn't flipped, and this is because the guards likely know who he is. Next, they play a game of tug of war, and because of their players, it seems like Ilnam's team are about to be sent to their deaths. However, he is the one who tells them how to win, and because of his guidance, they easily beat the much stronger team. Ilnam had clearly played the game hundreds of times before, and knew the best strategy to take. Any team with him was destined to win, and the fact his strategy works definitely proves this. Final game in which he takes part is the marbles one, and this also has a lot of clues in it. Throughout it, it seems like the character is struck by dementia, and he constantly walks around looking for his house. This game not only pulls from his childhood, but the area does too, and unless the Squid Game organisers were psychic, then they'd have no way of knowing what his home looked like. Throughout the episode, everything he says is brushed away as the ramblings of someone with the disease, but knowing what we know, it becomes all the more obvious that he's in control. In the end, he seems to find his home, and personally, I believe that this is a perfect recreation of it. He's giving the game away because throughout the entire season, he's letting us know that all of the challenges and environments are based on things from his life. He lets Ji-hun win, and the character is then seemingly killed off camera, but we know that isn't the case. If we look closely at the gate that Ji-hun has just walked out of, we can see that he's no longer there, and though the rest of the court is filled with bodies, his is completely missing. And knowing what we know, a question you may have is why did Ilnam end up leaving the game at this point when he was still invested in playing? Well, the next game is the deadly hopscotch one, and this is by far the most unpredictable of the lot. If he didn't end up getting put in last place, then there would be a danger that the person behind him could push him to his death, like what we see in the episode. There's also the possibility that due to his brain tumour, he may have forgotten along the way which glass to step on, and he simply couldn't risk it. Now that is of course a theory, but overall, going back and knowing what we know, I actually think the series becomes better on a second watch. Now obviously I'd love to hear if you spotted any other ones below, and if this is your first time here, then I hope you enjoyed your trip to the Heavy Spoilers show.
Alright, so I guess that's it for today's video. Did you guys notice all that? So I didn't. Bro, I was just focused on finding out like what was the point, what was the reason behind the game. I was also really intrigued on who would actually win and what would happen. I didn't expect anything from the old man, honestly. So yeah, this is a good video. Thank you guys so much for watching.